All right, so this was the build for the Elevation Masterclass for multi-level building. It was roughly a 2 foot by 3 foot build, just under 3 feet wide, I think. And the goal here was to showcase verticality, and I was going to do that by having all the lava rivers depressed and everything else raised up. So the first thing to do was sort of sketch out where the lava rivers are going to be, because they have to have light panels under them. So I got a rough idea where they're going to be, flipped out the other light panels upside down, and then I'm masking the light panels with these light bleed masks, so any of the cracks, if the pieces don't line up perfectly, these black spots will be in the spots between the pieces, so it'll mask the light coming out, so you don't get the white light coming between the underlit magma. And then the areas where weren't going to have magma rivers, I was throwing down terrain trays to start covering up some of that excess light. You can see in the upper right there, I'm trying to get the volcano, and I tried to work the volcano in. It didn't end up working out, but I was trying. Once the rivers were roughed out, I then started elevating the areas. And I like to just block stuff out quickly, like get a rough sense of it, because then I can always adjust. But like the more you can make it real, the easier it is to figure out what you want to do. So I was laying down little foam core risers on areas to try and level up the volcano, and trying to figure out how it was all going to work. And then I realized I wanted a bridge across there, so I had to adjust the river again. I adjusted the river a couple of times because I wanted a diagonal bridge through the middle, because diagonal was going to be neat. I wasn't sure exactly what was going to be connecting the different areas. I knew I wanted to have a variety of bridges, but I needed to kind of sketch it out to figure out how it was going to all land. So working on the foreground here, this is just laying down core pieces on a terrain tray and using that to sort of do our base layer, right? Just using regular dungeon walls and floors to create these elevated platforms. And then once I have them elevated up, I just sort of quickly as possible pave everything out with floors and walls just to get an idea. Then I can start messing around with what are the points of interest. So I know each platform needs to have at least one point of interest, right? There should be a reason for the players to go over there. Figuring out the diagonal bridge and what was going to be underneath it. Now going in the lower right here, I wanted to have a room that was hidden that you could reveal by lifting off a terrain tray. I really like that gag. I love having the discovery on the table. So I was figuring that thing out, how we could get a curved staircase leading down there. And that's just an 8x8 terrain tray and building right on top. And then once again, we're just paving everything over with floors. Just paving floors everywhere, right, as quickly as possible, so I can just start getting a sense of what the whole thing feels like. And then you get to add details and tweak and adjust. But you need to have the shape of it. It's sort of the skeleton of the build first. So working on that back area, trying to figure out what character to give that, how to make that thing, once again, have a reason to go out there. Working in the upper right, this is sort of the central point. We're supposed to draw people's eyes to that far thing. That was kind of like the main MacGuffin, and figured out trial and error a bunch of different areas that might work. I ended up changing what was going to be in there. Oh, we got some Starforged pipes in here. We were just rapidly going around trying to throw accessories on, right? See what, and just auditioning, moving this stuff around. I moved the acid furnace up front. Yeah, I try to make that more of a thing. Then on the right, we're working on the bladed ziggurat, then popping in different LEDs, popping in different decor, try and find spots for everything to live, throwing in some LEDs, throwing in some doors. We also need to get the fogger in there because you got to have some fog. So it looks so much cooler with fog. Put trap doors in the floor. So basically, once I have an area roughed out, I then just start adding details. This is when I realized, I was like, wait a second, to get over there, this is the perfect spot for a bridge. I needed another bridge. I hadn't premeditated it and just sort of came to it. Once I knew, it was like it was supposed to be. Lower right there, we started working on this circle. I ended up dropping that circle one wall's height lower so that it would just get even closer to the lava. Trying to figure out how to make the bladed ziggurat work. Realized I could fit over an LED floor, and that was pretty neat. Messing with those Starforged pipes. Fun. We ended up using the Artificer Hero Reliquary in the back there. It's a good central point. Definitely draws the eye. And then just lots of little accessories, right? Everywhere we can go, just filling in spots with little points of interest, little details, because then they become improvisational bits you can use when the story's going on, right? If there's a detail there, the players might say, hey, can I do something with this grader? Can I do something with this? Or hey, I want to jump off this and do that, or whatever. It just gives them little narrative hooks to try something interesting, and the more little hooks you have, the more spontaneous you can be with your story. I was very happy with how the final came out. We had a lot of depth to it, lots of points of interest, lots of danger, and lots of things to explore. And most importantly, as was multi-level building, lots of verticality, right? And a bunch of dangerous bridges, different ways to go where you need to go, and a lot of different levels to play with. So hopefully this will inspire some of your builds. And the important thing to remember too is just play when you're building, right? Have fun. It doesn't go in a straight line, right? You're going to try some stuff, mess around, tweak it until you run out of time and it's time for your session.